Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 7 of the 2022 season for Stetson Hatters baseball. Cole Stallings taking the hill for the Hatters as they look to get above 500 and secure the series win this weekend against the guys from the Ivy League, the Columbia University Lions. Thank you for joining us on Hatter Vision via YouTube. I'm Assad Bendian. Hatters coming off their best offensive performance of the year last night, plating 12 runs on 13 hits. You might not be surprised to hear, after what I told you about the offense, that the starting lineup for the Hatters today is essentially the same players, only one new player in the lineup, and he's really a veteran guy, so to speak. Kyle Ball getting the start at third base for the first time this year. Tyler McGregor will start us off for the Lions. Fouls the first pitch. 0-1. Gorgeous weather for baseball. You're looking at temps at around low 80s, 81 degrees officially at game time. Wind out of the southwest at 7 miles an hour. Not much humidity either, 49%. No chance of rain at all. We have been blessed with gorgeous weather early on in the season here at Melching Field. McGregor now looking at an 0-2 count. He was 0 in last night's game. And he's still looking for a hit here as he goes down, looking for strike three.
You're not that guy.
So, one batter, 1 K for Cole Stallings. And that brings up Andy Blake. And actually, I said looking by mistake. It was actually a check swing from McGregor, so he actually was down swinging. 1 out on the board here. Andy Blake, Cole Haig, due up for Columbia, of course. Blake hits that oppo, trailing towards foul territory. Correa on the run, that'll drop fair. Blake rounding first, he'll take 2 easy. So Andy Blake gets the scoreboard operator working this afternoon with Columbia's first hit of the game. First pitch for him. Cole Haig back in the lineup for the second day in a row. He was monster for the Lions yesterday. 2 homers, including a solo shot and a 3-run bomb late in the 9th that made the game a little more interesting near the end, but the Hatters eventually securing the 12-8 victory. Back in left field, and first pitch from Stallings is low. Let's set the Hatters defensively. You've got Cole Stallings, of course, on the bump. Christian Pregent on the receiving end. Jacob Bullitt at first. Banks Griffith at second. Camden Traficante for the second game in a row, starting at short. Kyle Ball replacing Johan Desero at third base. In the outfield, you've got Cam Hill in center, Anthony DeFabian left, Juan Correa in right. Correa making his second start in a row in right field. As that one gets away from Pregent, goes all the way to the backstop. And I imagine will be a passed ball. We're going to actually roll it a wild pitch. So, runner on third here for Columbia. They're 90 feet away from the lead, which would be a particularly good sign for the Lions, considering how this weekend has gone for both teams. The 2-0 is fouled away by Haig. Whichever team has grabbed the lead first in this weekend series has gone on to win. Columbia led wire to wire on Friday night, scoring 1 run in the first and never looking back. Stetson didn't get their lead last night until the 3rd inning, but they also held it once they did. 2-2 to count now on Haig. Batting a very healthy .600 for the year so far. Of course, it's still early for Columbia. They've only played 2 games. 3 for 5 last night. And that one tagged in the right field. Correa grabs it off the bounce, throws it home. Runner held, the throw to the plate. And Blake beat it. 1-0 Columbia.
Batting for the center fielder, number 40, Joshua Solomon.
So give Haig the RBI single. And the Lions the lead. Blake had the hold on third as Correa was charging towards the ball there in right field. Correa doing a very nice job, actually, snagging the ball as it came off the turf. And has shown a pretty good arm in right field. That was a decent strike to the plate, but Blake had just enough. Joshua Solomon now, the cleanup hitter for Brett Beretti and his Columbia Lions. The batting order for the Lions essentially the same as yesterday. There's only really one change, if you want to call it that. Anton Lazitz and Weston Eberle flipping spots in the order. The 0-1. And Stallings gets the breaking pitch across. 0-2 now on Solomon. Otherwise, same players, same positions. Tyler McGregor, of course, you saw him leading off this inning. Andy Blake, the DH. Cole Hagan left, driving in the RBI single. Josh Solomon, the center fielder, in the cleanup spot. Hayden shot the right fielder right behind him. Anton Lazitz moving up from 7 to 6. The freshman third baseman. The backstop, Weston Eberle, now batting 7th. Griffin Palfrey, the second baseman, 8th. Jacob Phelps, the shortstop, rounds out the order. That one tagged towards third. Ball is there with the backhand. Fires across the diamond for 2 outs.
Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 22, Hayden Schott.
So here comes Hayden Schott. He's been smoking hot this weekend. .556 batting average entering today. 5 hits on the year, including a pair of doubles and an RBI. Hay gets second. And the first pitch is fouled to the backstop, netting. Just a program note for all of you. We do not have a camera operator at this moment, so the camera view you're seeing right now is what there is. So I'll do my best to describe as much as I can today for that very reason. If we get someone else on board there, we'll let you know. Hopefully we can. I know our guys here are working on that. Jamie Bataille doing his best Ricky Hazel impersonation today. Ricky taking the day. Get better soon, man. The 0-2 coming up right now. Shot looking at an 0-2 count. Stallings, long look at second. Trafficante backs off the swing, and Shot is down on strikes. 2 punch-outs for Cole Stallings to start this game, but Cole Haig's RBI single plating Andy Blake from third, and the Lions strike first. Hats grab the bats for the first time today. When we come back, you're watching Hatter-Vision.
the center fielder, number 2, Cameron Hill.
Top of the order for Steve Trimper. Cam Hill, Anthony DeFabia, Jacob Bullard. Columbia strikes first in this contest. They're up 1-0. Stetson at the bat for the first time in this game, though, as they face off against fifth-year senior Billy Black. And Black starts us off with a strike. Cam Hill entering today with a .320 batting average. He's got 8 hits on the year. That is tops in the clubhouse right now for Stetson. And Hill going aggressively after that one. Count 0-2 now. Speaking with Coach Trimper prior to the game, I asked him how he felt about his team after last night's offensive performance. He told me that he felt like this team is still not hitting on all cylinders offensively, but last night was definitely a step in the right direction. The 0-2 is fouled away by Hill. The one thing he really liked from last night was that the team was, in his opinion, very good at attacking the fastball. And that's something they want to do today against Billy Black as well. He's a guy who will top out at high 80s, may get up to 90. The 0-2. And Black fires high. And that's something that Coach Trimper told me he'd like to see Stetson do a lot more of today, is if the ball is up in the zone, he wants the guys in the black jerseys and white pants to go after it. The 1-2. Hill holds up, and it's strike 3 looking.
Batting second, the left fielder, number 8, Anthony DeFabia.
So Hill down 1-2 on the K. And that brings up Anthony DeFabia, the big mover up the order today compared to last night. He was in the 6th spot yesterday. Today now batting second behind Cam Hill. DeFabia has been rock solid offensively this year for Stetson, especially recently. 7 for 14 at the plate, including 3 doubles and a triple. As Black fires that in for the strike. DeFabia has been the primary left fielder this entire weekend for Stetson, thanks partly to Nick DePonzio dealing with some injury issues. The 0-1. And Black gets the breaking pitch in for the strike. Black definitely pounding the zone early in this game. The 0-2. And DeFabia lays off. DeFabia 7 hits, second for the team lead right now behind Cam Hill, of course. Overall, though, DeFabia's .500 batting average is the leader in the clubhouse. Hill is third, Daniel Labrador right between them. The 1-2, and Black misses outside and low. Jacob Bullard on deck, the sophomore first baseman. Labrador in the cleanup spot for Stetson. Juan Correa, the right fielder, in 5th. Some other changes in the lineup card beyond that. The 2-2. And DeFabia tags that out of play over Hatter Hill. Banks Griffith in the 6th spot now. He was 7th last night. Kyle Ball sliding into the 7th spot. He's replacing Johan Desero, who's dealing with a turf toe issue that could sideline him for a little bit, according to Trimper. Possibly a week. That happened in last night's game. The 2-2, and DeFabia badly fooled by the breaker for strike 3.
Batting third, the first baseman, number 23, Jacob Bullard.
So Jacob Bullard steps in here, sophomore first baseman. And the rest of the batting lineup for Stetson is the same as last night. Christian Prejic, the backstop, 8th. Camden Traficante, the shortstop, in 9th. We'll set Columbia defensively. You've met Billy Black, of course. Weston Eberle behind the dish. As Bullard lets that go by for a ball, 1-0. Tyler McGregor at first. Griffin Palfrey, the freshman, at second. Jacob Phelps at short. Anton Lazitz at third, another freshman. The 1-0 is low again on Bullard, 2-0. Josh Solomon in center field, Hayden Schott in right, Cole Haig in left. Columbia opening their season at Melching, looking to start with their first weekend series win of the year. Hatters won 2 out of 3 last weekend against 3 different teams. Sharp grounder to second, and the Hatters go down 1-2-3. We head to the top of the second here at Melching. Columbia with the slimmest of margins. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Anton Lazitz.
6, 7, and 8 hitters here for Columbia as we begin the top of the second. First pitch swinging is Lazitz, and Camden Traficante making it look easy. 1 pitch, 1 out here for Cole Stallings as we begin the top of the second. Columbia 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. Stetson zeros across the board. Weston Eberly, the junior catcher, stepping in. Eberly was 0 for 4 last night. First pitch from Stallings in for a strike. Eberly with only 1 hit so far this weekend out of 9 ABs. He taps that foul towards the Columbia dugout, 0-2. Schott and Lazitz have been the hottest Lions this weekend, each of them with 5 hits. Haig with 3 hits in yesterday's game, including those 2 homers. Eberly now looking at a 1-2 count. Phelps, McGregor, Solomon, each of them with 2 hits. And that one hit in the center. Backing up is Cam Hill, looking over his left shoulder to make the grab. And that's 2 outs.
The second baseman, number 17, Griffin Palfrey.
And that brings up Griffin Palfrey. Palfrey also a slow start to his freshman year. 1 for 6. That one hit a single. Does have 3 RBIs, which is second for the team lead. Haig with 4 there. Palfrey thinking about bunt, but then pulls back 1-0. Columbia not the only Ivy League team looking to score a weekend series win today. That's low. 2-0 to count. Harvard also looking to do the same. They beat the 24th ranked Miami Hurricanes on Friday night and then fell yesterday to the Canes 2-1. Stallings, first base side of the rubber is where he set up, and the pitch is low. 3-1 the count now on Palfrey. Did a nice job holding up the swing there, actually. Dartmouth getting their first win of the year over Louisville yesterday, 6-4 final. Full count now on Palfrey. First time all game that we've seen a full count. Here's your payoff. Hit right towards second, a turf burner, but routine for Banks Griffith. Side retired. So 1-2-3 go the Lions. Hats grab the bats again, still looking for their first run in this game. You're watching Hatter Vision. Part of the order here for the Hatters as we return. Bottom of the second. Daniel Labrador, Juan Correa, Banks Griffith. The face-off here against senior right-hander Billy Black, wearing number 33 for the Lions. Lions rocking their light blue tops with the pinstriped white pants. Blue pinstripes, of course. Labrador goes swinging. Count 0-1 for a guy that Steve Trimper told me prior to the game has earned himself some playing time. I would say he has, considering what he's done at the plate. .385 batting average. Stetson's only homer of the year. Also has 2 doubles, 5 hits total. Labrador seen time really for the first time in the Tuesday loss to Florida. He's been a DH all weekend. The 1-1. And that's smoked between short and third. Stetson's first hit of the game belongs to Labrador. And actually, correction there. Labrador did start the Friday game at catcher for the Hatters. He has been a DH primarily when he's been in the lineup, though, including today. Juan Correa stepping in. Another guy that Coach Trimper told me has earned himself some playing time. The bat, the big reason why. The freshman from Weston's had a good start to the year. First pitch swinging, and he gets another hit. So back-to-back singles here for the Hatters. So 4 pitches so far from Billy Black and 2 hits for Stetson. And here comes the former Furman Paladin, Banks Griffith. Griffith coming into tonight with today, I should say, with a 188 batting average. Only 3 hits on the season in 16 at-bats. Squaring the bunt, lets it go, 1-0. Griffith does have a double and an RBI to his name, but it looks like he may be looking to drop this ball here and move Labrador and Correa. The corner infielders for the Lions poised to charge. They're at the edge of the infield grass. The 1-0, and Griffith drops it right in front of the mound. No other play but the first. Griffith dropping the butt nicely.
The third baseman, number 13, Kyle Ball.
And that sac bunt sets things up for Kyle Ball. Ball, a guy that the Hatter coaches would love to get going. One of 4 captains on this roster. Had started 109 consecutive games before he was sent to the bench in yesterday's 12-8 win over the Lions. And a dreadful Friday night performance, really, no other way to put it. Made a couple of costly errors. He's also not been swinging the bat particularly well. Entering today, 1 for 16 on the year. That one hit an RBI single, though. And if Ball can duplicate that, then Stetson's at least tied this game. The 0-1. And Black fires outside and high. Ball getting the start at third because Johan Desero is dealing with a turf toe issue. Something that popped up in last night's contest. And it may sideline Desero for a little bit. Coaches are saying probably a week, but of course that will remain to be seen. Desero, of course, the freshman third baseman for much of the season for Stetson. He's been very good at the plate. 6 for 21 prior to that turf toe issue. The 1-1. Hit right towards second base. That'll play to run. Throw to first gets Ball, but Labrador crosses the dish, and the Hatters have tied this up. So with 2 outs on the board, Christian Pregent will try to give Hatters a lead.
Catcher, number 34, Christian Pregent.
Juan Correa moving the third on the play. Stetson definitely going after Black aggressively. First pitch, Pregent, high popper in the right. Shot, should be able to get this, and he does. So that'll do it for Stetson here. Getting runners at second and third. They do manage to plate Labrador, but Columbia, for now, keeps this a tied game. Top of the third coming up on Hatter Vision. Bottom of the lineup card for Brett Beretti's Columbia Lions. Jacob Phelps, the shortstop, the number 9 hitter. Then we cycle back to the top with McGregor and Blake. Columbia grabbing the lead quickly in this game, and then almost as quickly, Stetson scratching it back to make it a tied game. We are knotted line score-wise as well, 1-2-0 in the R, H, and E respectively. Thank you, of course, for spending your Sunday afternoon with us here on Hatter Vision. I'm Masad Bendian. Kayana Reindecker working the camera lens for you. Weather is absolutely gorgeous today here in Melching. We started off at 81 degrees. Nice breeze out of the southwest, too, at 7 miles an hour. So, layout-wise here in Melching, that means basically the wind is blowing in. And Phelps is down, swinging. So give Cole Stallings 3 punch-outs in this contest. And Tyler McGregor, he was the first K victim for Stallings. He's now at the dish. McGregor, one of 3 captains on this Lions roster. Senior first baseman, lays off. 0-1 the count. McGregor, arguably Columbia's best hitter in the 2020 season before COVID shut everything down. 364 batting average. Hits that one towards second. Easy play for Banks Griffith. 2 outs.
Hitter, Andy Blake.
And here comes Andy Blake. He smoked a double on the first pitch he saw off Cole Stallings in the first inning. Eventually scored on Cole Haig's RBI single. Haig is on deck. And Stallings dropping that hook in, 0-1. One thing that Coach Trimper told me prior to the game was he wanted to see a good mix of pitches from Stallings. Keep these Lions hitters guessing. He delivers the pitch outside, 1-1. In particular, to make sure that he pitches off the breaking ball. Columbia, according to Trimper, very good at hitting fastballs, so that's kind of what he'd like to see. Cole do today, basically work off the breaking pitch, and there it was. Check swing, and according to the first base ump, Blake held. So 2-1 here. Corey Gottsegan, the home plate ump in this contest. He also called balls and strikes in last night's game. John Bennett and Andy Schultz, the same umps, but trading spots at first and third, respectively. You've got Schultz at third and Bennett at first today. 3-1 the count now on Blake. Stallings has retired 7 Lions in a row. And we're going to see a payoff here. Blake getting Stallings on a full count. Second time in the game we can say that. Last time, though, Palfrey grounded out to second base. Let's see what happens here. And it's another punch-out. 4 now in the game for Cole Stallings. And for the second inning in a row, the Lions are down in order. Hatters coming up, bottom of the third. We're tied at 1. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Hitting off the bottom of the third inning for your Hatters. And batting ninth, the shortstop. Number 3, Camden Trafficante.
Bottom of the third. Sorry, folks, I had Clint Eastwood in my head there for a second. Trafficante, first pitch. Nice play from McGregor. He'll run to the bag at first.
To the top of the order for the center fielder, Cameron Hill.
Diving play from McGregor to rob what almost certainly would have been a double for Trafficante if that ball had slipped through. Instead, it's a first pitch out for Billy Black and the Lions here in the bottom of the third. Cam Hill will step up here. He's 0 for 1 today. Cade looking in the top of the first. And Black fires that in for the strike. Cam Hill certainly had himself a day yesterday. 2 for 4 at the plate. Quickly down here, 0-2. Of course, he had the big hit in the game. Bases clearing RBI double in the fourth that gave Stetson some distance against these Lions. Stetson would hold off, even though Columbia was certainly game late in the game. The 0-2. Check swing from Hill. Did he go? Appeal to third, denied. Wasn't the greatest start to the weekend for Hill on Friday, 0 for 4, in a game where Stetson really struggled to find offense, even though they had 9 hits. All of it kind of scattered. The 1-2 hits Hill.
The left fielder, Anthony Fabia.
So Billy Black, who had the count where he wanted it on Hill, was a little too in there with that fastball, and now Anthony DeFabio will try to add on to it. Black with two Ks in this game so far. DeFabio had the other in the second. But Cam Hill, a guy with speed, and it looks like Columbia knows that. Throw over to first. Hill this season is the leader in the clubhouse for stolen bags for Stetson, a perfect 3 for 3. Nobody else has more than one, actually. Throw over to first again. As a matter of fact, Hill is only one of 2 guys on this Hatters roster with a swipe. Nick DePonzio's the other. Desero and Bullard and Trafficante have been caught trying to steal. They're 0 for 1 each. Another throw over to first. As clearly the Lions are worried about Cam Hill and his speed. Looks like they've been featuring that on Hill in the scouting report for him. Count now 1-0 on DeFabio. Hill stretching the lead. He'll go back to first. Will Billy Black. Black with the number 33 on his back. 6'4", 205 is how he stands. He's from Wilton, Connecticut. One of only 2 Connecticut players on this Lions roster. The 1-0 is hit hard by DeFabio in the center. It'll drop. So give Stetson their 3rd hit in this game. And the hot bat continues for DeFabio.
First baseman, Jacob Bullard.
Give him now 8 hits on the season, which ties him for the team lead with Cam Hill. And now it's Jake Bullard who will try to add on to it. This Hatters lineup, a very young one today. 4 sophomores, including DeFabio and Bullard, Pregent and Trafficante as well. A couple of freshmen in Labrador and Correa. Labrador on deck right now, Correa right behind him. You've only got 3 upperclassmen in the starting lineup in Hill, Griffith, and Kyle Ball. And Bullard swinging first pitch. Swings right through the off speed. Bullard's 0 for 1 today. He grounded out the second on a 2-0 pitch in the first inning. Hill with a short lead at second. DeFabio with a longer lead at first, but they're not holding him to the bag. And Bullard hits that to the shortstop. Phelps backhands. The throw to third gets Hill on the force. Nice defense there from Phelps.
Daniel Labrador.
It's a well-hit ball there that Phelps had to lay out for to get it. And fortunately for Columbia, all they had to do was get the ball to the bag. I'm not sure a tag would have gotten Hill. So with 2 outs here, it's DeFabian out second and Bullard at first as Daniel Labrador steps in. He's been really swinging a mean stick lately. Labrador will lay off. Labrador has plated Stetson's only run in this game, coming in the second on the RBI ground out by Kyle Ball. Black with the look at second, the 1-0 is outside. The throw to first gets away from McGregor. That's going to allow DeFabio to move up to third. It was a nice idea by Eberle. And if McGregor held on to the ball, it might have been the end of the inning. Bullard was definitely well off the bag at first. Doesn't really change the calculus much for either side, though, with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Although now you're seeing McGregor trying to hold Bullard to the bag, so there's a huge hole to go opposite field if Labrador wants to do that. The count now 3-0 on Labrador. Let's see how much Black wants to challenge here. I imagine Labrador's going to keep the bat on his shoulder here. He does, and draws the walk. So Labrador gets the first pass in this game for either side, actually. And the bases are loaded for Juan Correa. The freshman from Weston. Former All-Broward County player by the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Had a lot of interest from in-state colleges before choosing to don the green and white of Stetson, or as is the case today, the black, green, and white. First pitch. And Black paints it black on the outside, 0-1. In Correa's case, Florida Atlantic, UCF, Miami, Jacksonville all expressing interest in him, going to college there, but it's the Hatters who ended up getting him. One of the taller players on the roster at 6'5". And that's in for the strike, 0-2. Correa's initially listed in the roster as an infielder. Has practiced as a secondary outfielder, though, specifically in right, which is where he's been the last couple of games. Still very much learning the ropes in the outfield, though, but with the way he's been hitting the bat, or hitting the ball, I should say. You can see why the coaches want him in, but that time not as good for the freshman. 3 pitches was all Black needed to ring him up. His third punch out in this game, and the Hatters leave the bases loaded. We head to the top of the fourth. We're tied at 1. You're watching Hatter Vision. 3, 4, and 5 here for the Columbia Lions. As we resume play in the top of the fourth, we are knotted at 1. Columbia and Stetson trying to decide the winner of this weekend series. Each team taking one game this weekend. And the first pitch to Cole Haig is a ball on the inside, 1-0. Columbia with the 8-3 win on Friday night. Columbia also played an 8 in last night's game, but Stetson getting their bats on track a little bit, put up 12 runs to take that victory. Both teams sitting at 500 as well on the year. The 2-0. And Haig backs off. Now 3-0 the count. Stetson, 3 wins and 3 losses on the season. Columbia 1-1 respectively. They are opening up their campaign this weekend. And the 3-0 from Stallings is across for the strike. Here's the 3-1. And Haig draws the walk.
Now batting the center fielder, Joshua Solomon.
And that'll bring up Joshua Solomon, the center fielder, who's 0 for 1 in this game. Columbia starting the first 15 games of the year on the road. They won't actually have a home game until March 23rd. They'll be hosting the Manhattan Jaspers. And then right after that, going into Ivy League play against Penn. The Quakers, by the way, have had an interesting weekend so far. As Solomon swings through that one, 0-1. Penn scoring a 2-1 win over Texas A&M on Friday. And they're playing a doubleheader against the Aggies today. Last night's scheduled game moved to today, so throw over to first. They're still scoreless in that one. Also looking to get a series win this weekend, the Harvard Crimson, but they're in a hole early to the Miami Hurricanes, 8-0 there, bottom 2. The 0-1 hit hard towards short. This should be 2 to second for 1 to first. Bullard manages to snag it at first for the 6-4-3. 2 outs on the board, and Banks Griffith should absolutely do something to thank Jacob Bullard there, because that throw was well off the bag, and that's what Brett Beretti came out of the dugout to argue about. He wasn't too happy about that one. He wants the umps to talk this over. It's a well-hit ball there from Solomon, but Trafficante, who is manning shortstop for only the second time this season, has done a very steady job there defensively. Definitely got Haig on the force at second. The decision now is,
Now batting the right fielder, Hayden Schott.
or was, I should say, whether or not Solomon was safe at first, but the umps have decided to uphold the call, so 2 outs on the board here, and Hayden Schott steps in. First pitch swinging for him, and he goes opposite field. And that is Columbia's
Now batting the third baseman,
third hit in this game.
Lazitz.
The first, actually, since the first inning, when Andy Blake and Cole Haig went back-to-back, double and single, respectively. So Columbia looking for a little 2-out magic here. Anton Lazitz will step in. He's been hot this weekend as a shot. Lazitz lays off that one for the strike. Lazitz 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to short in his only at bat. But he enters with a .625 batting average, 5 for 8 on the year, including a double. Shot 5 for 9 on the year entering today, including a pair of doubles. The 0-1, Lazitz backs off. That's a strike, 0-2. Lazitz wears number 15 from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. One of 5 players from that state on Columbia's roster. This roster with a lot of representation across the country. Not that unusual, considering that the Ivies tend to be a nationwide type of recruit effort for most of their schools. Pregent with a nice job, keeping that one, making sure it didn't go too far so that shot couldn't run. Count now 1 and 2 on Lazitz. Stetson actually not that much less diverse than Massachusetts in that respect. They have players from 12 different states. Of course, the Hatters primarily recruit Florida. Stallings missing inside there 2 and 2. They've got 24 players actually from the Sunshine State, and then a pair of others from 6 other states. There is a bit of Northeast flavor on this Hatters roster, of course. Throw over to first. That, of course, largely due to Steve Trimper, who, prior to coming to Stetson, spent the majority of his coaching career in the Northeast. Head man at Maine, head man as well at Manhattan. The 2-2, runner going. That one hit towards second base, and if Griffin hadn't been moving to second base, he would have been right there to make the play. The hit and run working for Columbia to perfection.
Weston Eberly.
And it sets it up here for Weston Eberly to try to give Columbia the lead again. Had that hit and run not been in play, Griffith would have been at second in perfect position to get to that ball. But because Schott was moving at first, Griffin was covering the bag at second, anticipating a throw from Pregent. And instead, the ball was hit right where Griffith was. So give that round to Columbia in the ongoing chess match between both sides. Weston Eberly will try to give his team the lead here. He's 0 for 1 today. Popped out the center. 2 outs on the board and runners at the corners. Stallings delivers the off-speed in for the strike. We mentioned, of course, the Hatters, a lot of Florida flavor. Cole Stallings definitely among them. From Lithia, to be precise. 6'2", 210 is how he stands. Wearing a new number this year. He was number 44 last year. Now rocking the 18. The 0-1 hit hard to third. Ball's there, though. This should end the inning. And it does. Top is done here as the Hatters get out of that jam. Columbia stranding runners at the corners. We head to the top of the fourth, the bottom of the fourth, with the score tied at 1. You're watching Hatter Vision. Six, 7, and 8 here for Stetson as we approach the 1 hour mark in this contest. Still tied at 1 between both sides. Griffith, Ball, and Pregent due up here for Steve Trimper's ball club, wearing the Sunday black. First pitch in for the strike. Griffith, in his only time at the plate in this game, dropped a sac bunt to move the runners in the second inning. That would eventually pay off with Kyle Ball as he hit an RBI ground out. Count now 1-1 on the junior from Georgia. Big cut. 1-2. Gainesville, Georgia is where he's from. Playing second base primarily this year for Stetson, at least that's the plan. Spent much of last year as the main third baseman for the Hatters, though. Kind of splitting time between him and Jackson Olsen there. The 1-2 is bounced to third base, his old position, and that goes foul. Griffith has been a second baseman for much of his college career, especially at Furman. Before the program shut down, he was their starting second baseman. His bat has improved considerably from his time at Furman, although you wouldn't necessarily know it from the numbers right now. And did that hit him, or did it grab the bat? I think it hit the bat. It definitely bounced off Griffith, but I think more specifically off the bottom of the bat. So that would be just a foul ball, and the count is now 1-2 on Griffith, looking for his first hit of the game. And that one is a turf burner to short. Jacob Phelps is there. High throw, but Griffith is retired.
Now batting the third baseman, Kyle Ball.
And here comes Kyle Ball, who for the first time this year is playing at a position other than shortstop. Manning the hot corner. Not exactly a new position for Kyle, though. He has played third in the past, as well as second base. Many of the Stetson infielders have experience at all three of those spots, so you'll sometimes see some flipping around there. Black dirted the first one, 1-0. Ball initially started his Hatters career as a second sacker in that 2018 team that almost got to Omaha. That's in for the strike. But he's bounced around the diamond a little. He spent time at third, has settled in as the shortstop. Of course, Kyle's had a fairly rough start to the year, though, which is why you're seeing Trafficante at short. 2-1 the count. But Ball getting his chance now that Johan Desero has been sidelined with a turf toe issue, and maybe for some time, so it's all about production, though. The 2-1, and that one hit towards second, gathered up. Palfrey bobbling it, though. He's not able to get it cleanly, and Ball will reach. Error all the way on the second baseman, Palfrey. And it may not be exactly what Kyle Ball wanted, but he does make it to first base. And with one out on the board here, it's Christian Pregent who steps up. Pregent, another captain on this roster. They have 4 of them. Ball and him, the only position players who wear the C. The other 2 are pitchers, Chris Gonzalez and Nick Durgan, both of whom have been basically non-factors this year so far for Stetson. Durgan not too far away from coming back, though, from what I'm hearing from the coaches. Maybe able to throw some bullpens midweek, and if that's the case, you might see him next weekend as Sacred Heart will come to town. The Pioneers playing the Hatters 3 times over a 4-day stretch. Sandwiched around that is a single game against Bethune-Cookman, though. Throw over to first to keep Ball honest. It's a bit of an unusual setup, actually. You've got Sacred Heart coming in Friday night. BCU will be the Saturday night game. And then Sacred Heart will play again versus Stetson on Sunday and then Tuesday of that week. Throw over to first again, and Ball definitely trying to see how far he can go before he's got to dive back. Count is 0-1 here on Pregent. BCU, a team that the Hatters will actually see 3 times. At least they're on the schedule 3 times. But those 3 times are staggered around a little bit. They'll be taking on Bethune the end March over in Daytona Beach at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. And then BCU will come back to Melching Field for a midweeker in April. Ball about 3 strikes from the bag. Here he goes. High pitch in for the strike as Pregent swung through it, and Ball beats the high throw to second. So give Ball a stolen base. That's his first of the year. Pregent trying his best to connect. Clear hit and run call there. That's why he swung at that high fastball. And Kyle Ball a little shaken up, as you can see. Kind of a rough collision there at second. And that's a guy that the Hatter coaches would absolutely not want to lose at this point. This is a team that is not the healthiest right now. Ball will stay in the game, though. And speaking with Coach Trimper before the game, he described it as a lot of bumps and bruises on this Hatters team. They've been dealing with a stomach bug issue too, so that has obviously not helped matters. 1-2 count here on Christian Pregent. He's now got a runner in scoring position, thanks to Kyle Ball's speed. And Pregent catches that one off the end of the bat. So one more here on the foul ball. Pregent still looking for his first hit today. He's 0 for 1. Popped out the right field end the second. Entering today with a .273 batting average, 3 for 11. He has missed some time, though. As I mentioned earlier, got a lot of players with bumps and bruises and a stomach bug going around. It's kind of hit a lot of players on the team. Pregent not immune. The throw to second gets all the way into center field. Ball didn't realize it right away, though. But he does manage to move up another 90 feet. That should be a throwing error on the catcher, I would imagine. And now give Columbia 3 errors in this game. Actually, excuse me, that'll be a throwing error on the pitcher, not on the catcher. Everly not involved. That was actually Billy Black trying to pick Ball off at second. So an E1 is the call, and Stetson 90 feet from the lead. The infield will draw in. And the 1-2 from Black misses outside and low. Hatters and Lions tied at 1 here, bottom 4. 1 out on the board. Kyle Ball at third, though. Imagine Pregent's just trying to put it into play here. The 2-2 in the dirt. And we're going to see a full count. By my count, the first time all day that a Hatter has drawn the count full against Billy Black. Black, one of the few veterans on this Lions roster who remembers what it was like to play pre-COVID. At least for the Lions, that is. And he delivers the 3-2, and Pregent fouls it off. That one going all the way to the backstop padding. Black saw time as a starter in 2020, briefly. Both his appearances were starts. He went 0-2 with a 5.91 ERA. In 2019, the last time Columbia played a full season, he was primarily a reliever for that team, making 11 appearances. Did get a start, had a 14.11 ERA at the end of the year, though. Here's your payoff, and Pregent pops this up in the right field. This might be enough to send ball home. Shot makes the catch. Ball tags. The throw home is way offline, and Stetson has the lead. Pregent with another popper to right, but this time he makes the out count. And it's Stetson 2, Columbia 1. And it's Camden Traficante who now steps in. Smoked the first pitch he saw today to the first baseman. Hot shot down the line there in right field that almost ended up being a double for Traficante, but instead it was an out as McGregor did a nice job laying out to keep that one from getting past him, and then he ran to the bag at first to complete the out. With 2 outs on board here, you see McGregor is very close to the line again at first base. Definitely playing Traficante to pull. Everyone else pretty much in their normal spots, though. The 2-0. And Traficante holds up. But Corey Gottsegan calls the strike regardless. 2-1. Hatters trying to have their second successful weekend in a row. The 2-1. And Traficante pulled it hard down the first base line. 2-2. Last weekend, of course, Stetson hosting the Hatter Classic. Coming away with 2 wins in 3 games. Opening day win against Delaware, 4-3. Sunday win over the Manhattan Jaspers, 6-4. Sandwiched in between them, a 5-3 loss to a Notre Dame team that was ranked in the top 5 in some polls, and as low as 13 in the official NCAA poll. Both of Stetson's losses prior to this weekend have been the ranked teams, actually. As Black fires high, we're going to see another full count here. Then, of course, the Gators coming into town, 15th ranked, and they defeated Stetson 8-1 in what was probably Stetson's worst performance of the year, especially on offense. Here's your payoff, and Traficante fouls that off. That one hitting off the very top of the netting that protects foul balls just like that from smacking the fans in the grandstands. Of course, these grandstands here at Melching are going to have a very different look very soon. Here's your payoff. Again, Traficante fouls this off. The plan is, after the season ends here at Melching, that they're going to be renovating the entire grandstand area. You're going to see all chairbacks. The metal seating that you see now will not be there anymore. Everything will be a chairback seat in the grandstand area here at Melching. There will also be a nice roof covering most of the grandstands. Another payoff, and that's ball 4.
To the top of the order, for the center fielder, Cameron Hill.
Traficante entering this game with a 167 batting average, but it should be noted that he's been awfully good at drawing walks so far. That was his 4th pass of the year. He now leads Stetson in that category. And we're going to have a visit to the mound here. Eric Suppley, the Lions pitching coach, will take a walk out there. There has been action in the Columbia pen. We've got a right-hander warming up for Columbia, number 29, Andy Leon. who is the only two-way player listed on this Lions roster. Listed officially as a shortstop as well as a right-handed pitcher from Sugar Land, Texas. He's the only one I see warming up for Columbia, though. Although, I should say that will come with a caveat because from our broadcast position here in Melching, I do not have a clear vantage point of the entire bullpen area for the road team. I do for Stetson, but not for the road team. So, as best as I can tell, though, Leon is the only one warming up, so I think it would have been him who got the call, but it'll be Billy Black to face at least one more batter here as we go back to the top of the order and Cam Hill. First pitch, and Hill tags that in the right field. Trafficante on his horse. He's going all the way to third. Cam Hill with his first single of the day, and that sets it up here for arguably Stetson's hottest hitter, Anthony DeFabia.
Fielder Anthony DeFabia.
DeFabia has certainly been very productive at the plate. A guy who I would imagine one way, shape, or form will be in the starting lineup, at least until he gets any kind of a slump. Now, having said that, where he plays is a very good question because right now, with a lot of injuries, there's space, but DeFabia doesn't really have a starting position on this team right now. And that one's bounced down the third base line, foul. Steve Trimper picks it up, puts it in his pocket. DeFabia now in left field since Nick DePonzio is dealing with an injury issue. He has seen time in right field, but that job was expected to go to Brandon Hilton to start the season. We've not seen Hilton as he's also dealing with injury issues. The 0-1 is in the dirt. Eberle did a nice job keeping that in front of him, but it doesn't prevent Cam Hill from moving up 90 feet. So another wild pitch. We've seen a few of those in this game already, although that is the first for Columbia officially. Runners now at second and third. The 1-1. And that misses high. 2-1 here on DeFabia. In the Friday game against these Lions, DeFabia came up to bat in the 7th inning in a very similar spot. Runners at second and third, and he stroked an RBI double. The 2-1. And that one hit opposite field in the right center. On the run is shot. He'll grab it. And that will end the bottom of the fourth, but not before the Hatters grab the lead. Kyle Ball coming home on an RBI popper from Christian Pregent. We head to the top of the fifth with the Hatters holding a 2-1 advantage. You're watching Hatter Vision. Eight, 9, and 1 here for Brett Beretti in his 17th season in charge of the Columbia Lions. Palfrey, Phelps, and McGregor. First pitch, Palfrey with a bleeder to the mound. Cole Stallings with a nice play there to get him. That was not a very easy play for Stallings there. He had to really run off the mound and get that one. Palfrey with decent speed, and that was a very close play at first. But the bunt attempt is for naught for Palfrey. And first pitch to Phelps is in for a strike. Phelps in this game is 0 for 1. One of 4 Lions who have been a K victim of Stallings today. And lays off that outside offering, 1-2. And he goes down swinging. So give Stallings 5 Ks on the day. And 2 outs quickly here for the leadoff hitter for the Lions, Tyler McGregor. Stallings looking for his third 1-2-3 inning in this game. Got him in the second and in the third. Stallings actually at one point retiring 8 Lions in a row after giving up the double and the single in the first that led to the early run for the Lions. McGregor swinging through that breaking pitch. He just caught a piece of it. It's not been the hottest start to the year for McGregor. 2 for 9. Does have a triple and a homer, though. Both of those coming in the 8-3 win on Friday against Stetson. Columbia getting their first win that day since March of 2020. Columbia going 1-7 in the COVID-shortened season. And then, of course, did not play at all last year. None of the Ivies did, as they took the season off due to the pandemic. The 3-1 from Stallings. And that's a strike, according to Corey Gottsegan. Full count. The third time in this game that we've seen a full count against Stallings. Here's your payoff. And McGregor fouls that right off the backstop railing. Another payoff. And McGregor again fouls that off and causing his teammate in the on-deck circle, Andy Blake, to have to duck out of the way of that ball. That was sharply hit. Plenty of cloud cover today here at Melching Field, but also a lot of sun too, so you're going to see a lot of shadow dancing. Right up the middle, but Trafficante lost the handle on the ball. The transfer was not clean, but they're going to call it a hit for McGregor. So he's got himself his first single in this game. Andy Blake now steps up, the designated hitter. Trafficante did a nice job getting to that ball, as it was pretty much hit right up the gut, but lost the handle on the transfer. I'm sure some scorers out there would have called that an error. That's a strike, 0-1. I don't mind that one being called a hit, though, because McGregor really hit the ball pretty hard up the middle. And most of the time with a shot like that, that's going to be a base hit no matter what a shortstop does, even if he gets the ball. McGregor's got speed. He may very well have beat it out, even if Trafficante had not dropped the ball. The 0-1, and that is fouled hard off the metal railing behind the backstop. Count now 0-2. Blake has Columbia's only extra base hit in this game. A first pitch double in the first. Eventually scored off of Haig's RBI single. Haig is on deck. And he had himself a whale of a contest yesterday for the Lions. Throw over to first. Columbia's had a difficult time getting the leadoff batter on board. They've only done it once in this entire game, that in the fourth inning on Haig's walk. The 0-2. And Stallings wanted that one. He's going to have to throw at least one more, though. Stallings with 5 Ks in this game already, making his second consecutive Sunday start. Got the no decision in the game against Manhattan, which Stetson eventually won, 6-4. The 1-2, hit towards third. Ball is there. Throws to second for the force. Side retired. So the top of the fifth comes to an end. Columbia not able to dent the scoreboard. Hatters still hold the lead. Bottom of the fifth. Coming up, Hatters 2, Columbia 1. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Jacob Bullard.
3, 4, and 5 here for Steve Trimper's ball club as Columbia trots out a new hurler. It is who we were talking about earlier, warming up in the pen, number 29, Andy Leon. From Sugar Land, Texas, 6'1", 190 freshman. The only two-way player listed on the roster for Brett and Beretti. Actually, excuse me, there's actually 2 of them. My apologies. As he begins with a strike to Bullard 0-1. There's also A.J. Valle, who is listed as a right-handed pitcher as well as a third baseman. Bullard in this game is 0 for 1, grounding out the second in the first, fielder's choice in the third. And he swings through the high cheese there, 1-2. Bullard making his way back into the starting lineup. Yesterday's 12-8 win sat out on Friday as he was dealing with a stomach bug issue. And now he's down looking.
And now batting the designated hitter, Daniel Labrador.
So that's 4 Ks overall for Lions pitching in the first for Andy Leon. Billy Black's final line, by the way, he went 4 innings. 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, a couple of walks, 3 Ks. In 71 pitches thrown. So all in all, a fairly decent outing, but definitely not a quality start. That pitch to Labrador in for the strike 0-1. Columbia's used 7 pitchers so far this weekend, not counting today, of course, so it's actually 9 now with Black and Leon. And Leon gets ahead quickly here on Labrador, 0-2. Labrador has not been retired in this game. Single in the second, walked in the third. Facing an 0-2 here. And he hits that hard in the right field. Shot backing up. He should be there. He is.
And now the right fielder, Juan Correa.
And now it's Juan Correa who steps up, who is 1 for 2 in this game. Single on the very first pitch he saw in the second inning. Backwards K in the third. Left the bases stranded for Stetson. But the Hatters do hold the lead still, though, 2-1. A tight contest so far in this Sunday afternoon game at Melching Field. Both teams looking to secure the weekend series win. For Columbia, it would be their first of the year. I suppose for Stetson, you can say the same. Depends on how you argue it. As Correa swings through that one. Golf swing not able to connect there, nothing in 2. Stetson did win 2 out of 3 last weekend, but it was against 3 different teams. This is actually technically Stetson's first series against 1 team. And Correa again down looking.
We have played 5 complete at Melching Field.
Second straight at bat for Correa that he goes down looking on an 0-2 count. We are through 5 here at Melching. Hatters with a 2-1 lead. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Hey.
3, 4, and 5 here for the Columbia Lions. Stetson 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Columbia 1 run on 5 hits and 3 errors. But even with those 3 errors, Columbia is still very much within striking distance, especially with this guy at the plate. Cole Haig, first pitch for him is fouled off the end of the bat, 0-1. Haig today has reached both times he's been at the dish. RBI single in the first, walked in the fourth, eventually taken out on a 6-4-3 double play. Regent keeping that in front of him, so the count now 1-1. Haig, of course, had 2 homers in last night's game. A solo shot, and then a 3-run bomb late. The 1-1 is fouled, and that will go off Hatter Hill. And some of the kiddos will go scrambling to get that ball. Count now 1-2. We are nearing the 90-minute mark. Actually, we're just past it in this contest. The 1-2 is fouled off the end of the bat and smacks off the backstop padding. Columbia is going to be on the road for quite a bit in the early part of this season. The 1-2's bounce towards short. There's Traficante. Fires across for out number 1.
Now batting the center fielder, Joshua Solomon.
Joshua Solomon will step in now, the senior center fielder. 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to third in the first inning. He hit into the 6-4-3 in the fourth. Lions starting the season with 15 straight road games, including this 3-game set against Stetson. Then they're going to be bouncing around the South for a little while. 4-game set against Davidson in North Carolina next weekend. Then another weekend set, 3 this time against the Baylor Bears. So from North Carolina to Texas. And then they go across state lines to Louisiana. They'll take on McNeese State. Then Incarnate Word and Houston. So they end up back in Texas. And then after all that, they'll finally get their first home game of the year. Followed quickly by their first conference home series of the year. They open up against the Penn Quakers. Cole Stallings threw 5 1/3 already, his longest start of the year. He went 4 1/3 in the game against Manhattan. Appeal to first, and John Bennett rings Solomon up. So that's 6 punch-outs for Stallings.
Now batting the right fielder, Hayden Schott.
And that brings up Hayden Schott. He's certainly been one of the Lions' best bats this weekend. He's 1 for 2 today, singled in the fourth. Eventually stranded at third. Did K in the first inning, that one actually ending the top of the first for Columbia. And Schott fouls that breaking pitch off and quickly down now 0-2. Stallings certainly making a case for himself to stay in this rotation. The 0-2 is way high and inside as well. Schott actually doing a nice job ducking out of the way of that. Stallings wants another 1-2-3 inning. He's got 2 already in this game. And that misses high. He'll have to throw at least 1 more. 2-2 to count now on Schott. That's fouled away again off the end of the bat towards the Stetson dugout. Fairly decent crowd for this Sunday here at Melching. Sun out, though, so you got a lot of fans under the grandstand area. As that one's hit Oppo Field. Anthony DeFabi hasn't seen a lot of action today, but he'll snag that one to end the top of the 6th. Another 1-2-3 for Cole Stallings, his 3rd in this game. We head to the bottom of the 6th with the score. Stetson 2, Columbia 1. You're watching Hatter Vision. 6, 7, and 8 here for Steve Trimper's ball club. Rocking the black tops with the white pants and the green socks. Black has kind of been a thing for Stetson on Sundays this year, or really when Stallings is pitching. Griffith ball, Christian Pregent all due up. Griffith fouls that off the netting in front of the Stetson dugout. Or actually, I should say behind the Stetson dugout. 0-1. The way that ball hits the netting, though, it often lands in the dugout itself and sometimes in the front of it. Just kind of depends on the angle. Count 1-1 now on Griffith, who is 0 for 1 in this game. He grounded out to short in the fourth. Sack bunt, moving the runners over in the second to eventually lead to a tied game for the Hatters. And Griffith hits that hard in the center, but right to Joshua Solomon.
Now batting the third baseman, Kyle Ball.
So with one out here, it's Kyle Ball who steps in. Plenty of Atlantic Sun action on this Sunday afternoon, as you might imagine. Liberty well on their way to sweeping the Winthrop Eagles. Bottom 5, Flames up 9-0 there. Liberty, of course, the only ranked team in the A-Sun at the moment. Getting there thanks partially to scoring a big opening weekend series victory in Gainesville against the Florida Gators. Gulf Coast and Bethune-Cookman doing battle. Bottom 8, Eagles up 5-2 over the Wildcats. That one hit up the middle from Kyle Ball, and he's got himself his first hit of the afternoon.
Now batting the catcher, Christian Pregent.
That's the kind of thing that the coaches are hoping Ball will do more of very soon. It's definitely been a rough start to the year for the graduate and one of Stetson's 14 captains. But perhaps the move to third may help things a little bit. Ball's certainly an excellent shortstop defensively, but can certainly hold his own at the hot corner. And maybe, depending on how things go, he may end up there for at least a little bit. Johan Desero dealing with a turf toe issue, so he'll be out for a little while. Camden Traficante has certainly done well defensively at short. The 1-0. Ball had his issues at short on Friday night against Columbia. 2 errors in the game, both of which directly led to runs for the Lions. Throw over to first again. Ball diving back. Andy Leon clearly trying to make sure Ball doesn't take a huge lead. Lions, in this game especially, you're seeing that they're very preoccupied with the runner at first. That ball in the dirt from Leon. Eberle doing a nice job keeping it in front of him. So, Pregent, 0 for 2 in this game. He's popped out the right both times, in the second and in the fourth. The one in the fourth, though, was a productive out at least. It drove in Kyle Ball from third, and as of this moment, that's the difference in this game. The 2-0. Ball kind of hustle back to first. Man, and Columbia almost got him. Weston Eberle hopping up and down in frustration. He thought he had Ball. And if I'm being totally honest, ladies and gentlemen, I thought he had Ball too. That was very, very close. And Black fires the strike. So count now 3-1 on Pregent. McGregor, as you can see, obviously holding Ball to the bag at first. So there's a big hole between first and second if Pregent goes oppo. He does, but this one hit hard in the right field. Shot backing up to the track, to the wall almost. He makes the grab. And Kyle Ball had to hustle back to first there. Pregent caught a big chunk of that. So Pregent once again flying out to right field. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Although, to be fair to Camden Trafficante, it's been a lot more good than anything else this season for the Hatters. Not the highest batting average, but he's had productive at-bats for sure. He leads the team in walks drawn at this point. He's got 4 of them. In this game, he is officially 0 for 1. That walk in the 4th, of course, and grounding out to the first baseman in the 3rd inning on a hard-hit shot down the right field line. As a matter of fact, when Trafficante's put the ball in play in this game, it's usually been a pull shot towards first base. But with McGregor playing the bag, if he can do that again, that might make things very interesting indeed. And that's a strike. 0-1 the count. With 2 outs on the board here, I imagine you'll see Kyle take a pretty decent lead off the bag at first whenever he can. No real need to worry about a double play ball with 2 outs. Throw over to first. And ball gets back safely. Trafficante listed on the roster as an outfielder and an infielder. He'll see some time occasionally in one of the corner spots, but he's primarily an infielder when he's in the game. The 0-1, and he swings through that one for strike 2. Trafficante not too far away from his hometown, Ormond Beach, which is about maybe 30 minutes away, give or take traffic on 92. Or if you want, you could always grab the State Road 11 route to State Road 40, and that takes you into Ormond Beach as well. The 0-2. And Trafficante's down looking. Third punch out for Andy Leon in this game. They've all been looking. We head to the top of the 7th, and Stetson holding the slimmest of margins as we enter the final 3 innings scheduled in this game. You're watching Hatter Vision. We've got a defensive sub to mention for the Hatters as we resume play here in the top of the 7th. Connor Keel is now in right field. He replaces Juan Correa. That move, I'm sure, done a large part because of defensive reasons. Keel, a lot more range out there than Correa. 1-1 the count now on Anton Lazitz. Weston Everly, Griffin Palfrey, due up right behind him. Offense been hard to come by for both sides in this game. And Lazitz will pop this up. Shallow left center. Cam Hill's there, though.
Now batting the catcher, Weston Everly.
And Cole Stallings is just motoring along here. nearing the 90 pitch count mark, as he's now gone 6 1/3, his longest outing of the year so far. Hatter coaches hoping that some of these young arms can establish themselves, especially in the starting rotation. Cole Stallings has certainly made a case for himself. Definitely been much better today than he was against Manhattan. Not that he was terrible against the Jaspers, actually, but he's certainly been a lot better in this one. Went 4 1/3 with 2 runs allowed and 5 hits. None of those runs were earned, though. And in this one so far, he has allowed 1 earned run with 5 hits and 6 Ks. And the 1-2 here is dirted right in front of Weston Everly. So make it 2-2 now on the junior catcher, who is 0 for 2 in this game. Popped out the center in the second, grounded out the third in the 4th inning. And the home plate ump, Corey Gottsegan, wanting to look at the ball there, I think. And also maybe to give a little bit of time here for Pregent. Was a little shaken up after that. The trainer coming out to take a look at him. Plenty of Ivy League teams in action this weekend, of course. One interesting score to note. Top 2, Texas A&M with a 3-0 lead over Penn. The Quakers did snatch the Friday night game in that series. Both sides playing a doubleheader today, though. Miami in full control over Harvard as both sides look for the weekend series win. Hurricanes up 9-0 over the Crimson, bottom 5. And Everly fouls that away. Louisville's all over Dartmouth. 15-3 top 8. Dartmouth actually managed to take one from the Cardinals this weekend. Cornell has certainly had a weekend to forget in the Ivy. The 2-2 hit towards short. Camden Traficante laying out. 2 outs on the board.
Now batting the second baseman, Griffin Palfrey.
Traficante having to pull up his socks after that terrific play. Ranging deep in the hole at short. He keeps making plays like that. It's going to be hard to keep him out of the lineup. Kind of funny, too, because if there was one position on this team before the season began that you thought would have been a lock, it was ball at short. But, well, sometimes rough starts to the year can cause a change in plans, and Traficante certainly has not hurt himself at all when he's been out in the field, anything but, really. Palfrey has drawn a 3-0 count here on Stallings. Stallings trying to fire to strike across. He does. Stallings nearing the 100 pitch count. I imagine you're not going to see him in this game much longer for that reason. There is action in the Stetson pen, though. The 3-1 is hit towards short. This one much more routine for Traficante.
Nothing doing in the top of the 7th inning.
And Cole Stallings has retired the last 6 Columbia Lions he's faced. Let's see if he comes out of the game at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll figure that out later. It's time to stretch. Hatter's up 2-1. You're watching Hatter Vision. So far in this game, Stetson's gotten a stellar performance from Cole Stallings on the mound. The offense has done just enough to give him a lead. But I imagine that there's still a lot of anxiety of sorts that can be cured with a couple of runs here in the bottom of the 7th. Cam Hill will lead us off. DeFabia and Bullard due up right behind him. And Hill will send that foul. Hill in this game is 1 for 2 officially. Singled in the 4th, Cade looking in the 1st, plunked in the 3rd. Hill, a guy that has really been an automatic on top of the lineup sheet for Stetson so far this year, and probably for the foreseeable future. He's certainly been productive in a critical position for the Hatters. 3-1 the count now on him. Big shoes to fill in his particular case. He's replacing a guy in Andrew McNeil who had a terrific senior year, or graduate year really in his particular case, last year. Him and Hernan Sardinius really pacing the Hatters offensively. And I think that hit Hill again. It did. Caught him on the right bicep.
This is your final call for concessions at this time. Now batting, the left fielder, Anthony Pavia.
And Cam Hill, like Andrew McNeil, not too bad at drawing the hit by pitch, as you can see. He was pretty decent at that in Kentucky, actually. Drew 16 hit by pitches in his time there, playing over 100 games for the Wildcats. Also pretty good at stealing bags. He had 23 in his Wildcat career, and he's got 3 so far this year for Stetson. DeFabia now looking at a 1-0 count. He's got a single today. That came in the 3rd. Sandwiched around a pop-up in the 4th and a K in the 1st. 1-0. Hill making the motion like he was going towards second, but he holds up. 2-0. We've already seen 1 stolen bag in this game. Kyle Ball did it in the 4th for Stetson. Wouldn't be all that surprised if Cam pushes the issue here. He's certainly capable. Hatters 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors, 1, 5, and 3 respectively for Columbia, as both teams are vying to take the weekend series with a win today. The 2-0 from Leon misses, 3-0. Leon gets the strike across. 3-1 now on DeFabia. Leon, one of 3 players on this Lions roster from the Lone Star State. Played his prep ball in the Houston area. Hill's going, hit and run on, and DeFabia gets it between short and third. Hill on his horse. He'll get all the way to third. The hit and run working to perfection for the Hatters there.
First baseman, Jacob Bullard.
Hill taking the head start from the bag at first, and that allowed him to sneak up another 90 feet on a ball that otherwise would have probably seen him at second base. Jacob Bullard now stepping in with no outs on the board here. And now the spot gets tight for Andy Leon. And we're going to have a conference on the mound here. Eric Suppley will talk a little bit of strategy here for the freshman. Played his high school ball at Strake Jesuit College Prep in Houston. A team that eventually reached the state semis. He's been shown some love by Perfect Game, has Leon, preseason All-American last year. Also named a preseason underclassman All-American by PG in 2020. His dad played football at the University of Houston back in the days when the Cougars were actually still in the Southwest Conference. Pretty good player, actually, for the Cougars. That he was all academic and all conference there. And what may be one of the coolest stats, actually, or factoids, I guess, that I found in my research of this Columbia team, Leon is actually a descendant of the man who wrote the Cuban national anthem. Perucho Figueredo, in case you're wondering, is his name. But right now, he's probably not thinking about that. Leon's got much bigger problems on his plate. Runners at the corners and none out. As Bullard swings first pitch, fouls it over the first base stands here. 0-1 the count on Jacob Bullard, who's still looking for hit number 1 today. Grounded out to second in the first. Reached on a fielder's choice in the third, eventually stranded at second. Cade looking his last time up in the fifth, the first time he faced Leon. The 0-1, and Leon with the slow pitch there. That misses, 1-1. Hatters with a chance here to really extend their lead. You've got Hill at third, DeFabia at first, no outs on the board. Hill plunked to get on board, DeFabia with the single. The 1-1, and Bullard goes oppo, that's going to stretch the lead. Hill trotting home from third, DeFabia hustling, he'll get the third. Give Jake Bullard an RBI single, and it is 3-1 Hatters.
Now batting the designated hitter, Daniel Labrador.
And the job's about to get a lot tougher here for Columbia as Daniel Labrador steps in. He's only been one of the hottest Hatter hitters, especially this weekend, but really since he's been in the lineup. Columbia's got a lefty warming up. Looks like Jagger Edwards would get the call here if Brent Beretti decides to move on from Leon. Delivers the breaking pitch high, 1-0. Columbia historically has not had much success against the Hatters. Their Friday night win, actually, against Stetson, the only time they've ever beaten the Hatters. Hatters have owned this series all time, 8-1. The 1-0. And Eberle will fire to third. Make sure that DeFabia is paying attention, and he definitely was. That pitch a strike, by the way, so 1-1 the count now on Labrador, who has reached twice in this game. Singled in the second, scored a run. Walked in the third. Popped out to right field in the fifth. He does have Stetson's only homer of the year, though. A solo shot. The 1-1. And he hits that hard, but snagged in the air by Lazitz. Anton Lazitz showing off the vert. That ball hit almost anywhere else, and that is probably a double down the left field line. Would have played it to DeFabia for sure. And definitely would have moved up Bullard from first. Really an unfortunate break for Daniel Labrador there, as he got robbed of what would have been certainly his first RBI of the game. And maybe with the way that ball was hit, that might have convinced Eric Suppley that it was time to make a move. And we're looking at a pinch hitter here for Stetson. Brandon Hilton will take over here for Connor Keel. And it does look like it's Jagger Edwards. It is a lefty. Yep, it's Edwards, who will take the ball here from Andy Leon. So we'll take a break. The Hatters have stretched the lead to 3-1. And they've got runners at the corners with one out. Bottom of the 7th will resume when we come back. You're watching Hatter Vision. So the Columbia Lions decide to trade one freshman hurler for another. Andy Leon is out. Jagger Edwards is in. Like Leon, also from Texas. In this particular case, San Antonio. 6'2", 190 is how he stands. Played his high school ball at Reagan High in San Antonio. A team that was ranked number 1 in the state in 2021 at one point. And his first pitch hits Brandon Hilton right in the back. So Hilton making the pinch hit appearance in this one. And it ends up being quite a painful one for him. That is the 3rd time in this game that a Hatter batter's been plunked. And just like that, Hilton's out of the game. Still dealing with some hip issues, so they don't want him running. And it'll be Dylan Brazel. So Brazel takes Hilton's spot at first. Almost certainly will be the right fielder when Stetson's back on defense. Banks Griffith ducking out of the way of that offering from Edwards, 1-0. So we've now seen officially 4 different guys in the right field spot for the Hatters in this game. Juan Correa getting the start. The 1-0 misses. No, actually catches the outside corner for the strike. 1-1 on Griffith. And then, of course, Connor Keel coming in as a defensive sub for Correa. And then because of the situation at the bases, coaches deciding to bring in Hilton, who they consider to be a better hitter. But then Hilton got plunked, and since he's still dealing with hip issues, they bring in Dylan Brazel, who might be one of Stetson's best defensive outfielders and a pretty good runner in his own right. He'll be moving here. The throw to the plate. Gets away from the pitcher. And Anthony DeFabia scores from third. It's 4-1 Hatters. I think that'll be a wild pitch. As that one squirted away from the catcher, got all the way to the backstop. It will be a wild pitch. So that's how DeFabia comes home. Eberle threw it to the plate in time to possibly get the Fabia, but Edwards not able to cover the bag at home cleanly. The ball squirted out of his glove. So now you've got Jacob Bullard at third moving up on that wild pitch. Brazel now at second due to that wild pitch. Infield drawn in here as Griffith fouls that off. That is the second wild pitch from Columbia in this game. And a costly one, obviously, as it leads to a run here for Stetson. Hatters now up 4-1. And a hit from Griffith could easily extend that to 6-1. Infield at the edge of the infield grass here. Griffith lays off the high breaker. And we're looking at a full count. Griffith in this game is 0 for 2. Ground out to short in the fourth, lined out to center in the sixth. Also dropped the sac butt in the second. That was instrumental in getting Stetson's first run in this game. Obviously won't be sack bunting here, though. Here's the payoff. And he's down swinging. So Jagger Edwards gets his first out. And now it's up to Kyle Ball.
The batting third baseman, Kyle Ball.
And now with 2 outs on the board, you're going to see Columbia extend back to a more normal defensive position in the infield. Although you do have Tyler McGregor playing in what would normally be the hole between first and second. So he's conceding that shot down the first base line if Ball can go oppo. And Edwards fires the strike. Kyle Ball in this game does have a single that came in the sixth in his last at bat. Did have an RBI in the second that actually tied the game for Stetson. Edwards missing high there, 1-1. And then he also scored a run and stole a base after reaching on an error in the fourth inning. So if nothing else, Kyle's certainly been productive at the plate today. And that's something that the Stetson Hatter coaches are going to be very happy to see. That's certainly been an issue for Kyle in this early part of the year. The 1-1 is inside and misses. 2-1 the count. Hatters 4, Lions 1. Both these teams trying to score the weekend series win. Stetson certainly in position to do just that if they can plate at least a few more. The 2-1. And Ball swings right through that. 2-2 now the count. On the graduate from Stratham, New Hampshire. One of 2 players from the Granite State on this Hatters roster. Seeing his first action of the year at third base, he's been the starting shortstop for much of the season for Stetson. The 2-2 is in the dirt. Full count. It's been a rough bottom of the 7th so far for Columbia, conceding 2 runs. But if Edwards can get one more strike here, it ends the threat. Here's your payoff. And he does not.
Now batting, the catcher, Christian Preaton.
That is the 3rd free pass from Lions pitching in this game. And runners at the corners here with 2 outs. It's now up to Christian Preaton. He's had an 0 for 3 day. He has popped out to right field each time. In the 2nd, in the 4th, and in the 6th. The one in the 4th, though, did give the Hatters their first lead of the game. It was an RBI. Lays off that high offering from Edwards, 1-0. Preaton entering today with a .273 batting average, although that number is certainly lower after his performance today, but his RBI is certainly a critical one. as Edwards gets the strike call, dropping the hook on the inside, 1-1. Preach's done an awful good job, though, stretching the counts when he's been in. Other than the second inning, of course. That one was a first pitch popper to right. The other two, though, you got the counts, the full and the 3-1. And Pregent lays off that one, 2-1. Pregent's a guy that the Hatter coaches really value for his defense and how he calls a game. Offensively, they think he can be a pretty decent hitter. Ideally, they'd like him to be 250 or higher in the batting average. The 2-1 is popped way out of play. So count now 2-2 on Pregent. He can certainly run into a ball, though. He's got that kind of power. You've got Bullard at third, Brazel at second, Ball at first, and Pregent's down looking. So for the second time in this game, the Hatters strand the bags full, but we are in the top of the eighth now. The Hatters still hold the lead. It's 4-1. You're watching Hatter Vision. And with a 4-1 lead here for Stetson as we begin the top of the eighth, Cole Stallings' day is done. The Hatters go to the pen, and it'll be Rashesh Pandya called on to finish this one off for Stetson. Bottom of the order here for the Lions, Jacob Phelps. And then back up to the top, and Tyler McGregor and Andy Blake. Pandya, the former Clemson Tiger, fires high there, 1 ball, 1 strike on Phelps. Pandya making his second appearance of the season for the Hatters. Missing outside there, 2-1 now. Pandya, very effective in his only appearance this year. It came against Notre Dame, where he threw 3 innings of 1-hit ball and had a couple punch-outs. This stage, nothing new to Pandya, of course. He's a graduate transfer from Clemson, where he was one of the Tigers' main relievers last season. Prior to that, played his college ball at Wofford, where he was also a very effective pitcher for the Terriers. Pandya missing outside now, 3-1 the count. Phelps has not reached base in this game. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of punch-outs. Goes swinging at that one, and the count's full. Here's your payoff, and Phelps manages to get a piece of that. Pandya from Greenville, South Carolina originally. The 3-2, and that misses high. So Phelps draws the walk here.
The order for the first baseman, Tyler McGregor.
And that will bring up Tyler McGregor. Who is 1 for 3 in this game. Hit a single in the 5th. That's the only time he's reached, actually. Pandya fires. High, 1-0. Final line on Stallings, 7 innings pitched. 7 innings pitched, yep. 99 pitches. 5 hits, 1 run. That one earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks. 26 batters faced. Very solid outing for him. As McGregor fouls that off, 1-1. Stallings certainly making a case to keep himself as the Sunday starter for Steve Trimper and Dave Thurno and company. Starting pitching has been surprisingly good for Stetson at this early portion of the season. It was a big question mark for this coaching staff. They weren't sure what they'd get. 1-1, missing low. 2-1 the count. And that's especially true when you consider that their 2 best pitchers to begin the year haven't even appeared. That, of course, being Nick Durgan and Daniel Perrette. Coaches are hoping Durgan will make his debut as soon as next weekend. And McGregor swings through that, 2-2. Durgan expected to be this team's Friday night ace. Certainly was solid for the Hatters last season in that role. Only Hatter named to the Ace Sun preseason team to begin the year. Perrette has missed a lot of time due to injury, but when he's been in the lineup, he's been extremely effective. 2019, of course, his first year at Stetson, he was Ace Sun Freshman of the Year, named second team All-Conference, also named a Freshman All-American by Collegiate Baseball. A formidable 1-2 punch, and there was a lot of question marks behind that, though. The 2-2, and that misses high. Full count now on McGregor. So the real question for the Hatter staff and the coaching was, well, who do we have behind a healthy Durgan and a healthy Perrette? And I think they've seen some answers there. Danny Garcia has been effective as a starter. Jonathan Gonzalez threw a good game yesterday. Cole Stallings may have had the best outing for any Stetson starter this year. And McGregor draws another walk. And Rashesh Pandya has put himself in a bit of a pickle. Andy Blake now stepping in. Christian Pregent calling the signals on defense as we now have action in the Hatter pen. I would imagine that's Tanner Martin who'll be warming up. He's Stetson's presumptive closer. Indeed, it is Tanner Martin. And so now Dave Thurno's going to go out there, and let's see if they're going to make the move here. I imagine they'll probably keep Pandya in, at least for this batter. I mean, Pandya is not exactly a freshman who doesn't know what he's doing out on the mound. Played at Wofford from 2017 to 2020. At Clemson last year, like we mentioned, he had a 3.66 ERA and 18 games pitched, all of that in relief. Racked up 16 Ks, and opponents batting .257 against him. In his career, actually, Pandya has an ERA of 2.59. And he has seen time as a closer in the past. He's had 5 saves in his career. So he certainly knows positions like this. And that's in for the strike. Andy Blake now at the dish for the Lions. He's reached twice in this game, double in the first, fielder's choice in the 5th. But Blake does have power. We saw him run into one on Friday, hit a solo bomb to left. The 0-1, and he tried to do it again there and missed. 0-2. Blake, actually, in that home run he hit on Friday, just the second of his career as a Columbia Lion. Pandya will step off the rubber here. Banks Griffith at second was making some motions to the bag. That's where Jacob Phelps is right now. Tyler McGregor at first. Griffith will back off now. And Pandya looking over towards second. Bit concerned about Phelps, it looks like. Hatters nursing a 3-run lead, the 0-2, and Blake is down swinging. Badly fooled on that pitch. He dropped to a knee as he swung at it.
Now batting the left fielder.
Cole Haig will step in here for Columbia. And you really want to talk about a home run threat. Blake's only had one this weekend. Haig's had two. They both came yesterday, including a 3-run bomb in the 9th inning that cut the lead to the eventual final score of 12-8. So he goes swinging first pitch, and Pandya gets it by him, 0-1. Pandya, not a guy with huge stuff, but certainly an effective reliever. And the Stetson coaches feel like he can be filling the same role he essentially did for Clemson last year. And that's fouled off the plate, 0-2. Pandya, of course, is getting a taste of college life outside of his native state of South Carolina. Lawford, of course, a South Carolina school, as are the Clemson Tigers. Long look at second for Pandya on the 0-2. Misses high. Columbia took the Friday game. Stetson took the Saturday game in this weekend series. This one will decide the winner. The 1-2. And that one hit towards third. To second for one. To first. Not in time. But the Hatters do get one out of it. Jacob Phelps now at third.
Now batting the center fielder.
Tyler McGregor
Joshua Solomon.
retired on the 5-4 putout. Haig reaching on the fielder's choice. And with runners at the corners and 2 outs, it's now up to Joshua Solomon. Solomon right now representing the tying run. He's 0 for 3 today. He has hit into a double play. That came in the 4th. Cade his last time up in the 6th. Grounded out to third as well in the 1st inning. And Solomon looking for the signs. Solomon's one of this team's captains. McGregor is as well. Jacob Phelps as well. Those are the 3. The 1-0. And that's in for the strike. Hatter pen quiet for now. Tanner Martin still on the bump, but it looks like he's going to take a break. And watch what's going on with Rashesh Pandya. Cole Stallings in line for the win, but only if Pandya can hold off the Lions here. And he's 1 strike away from that. Pandya came in to start this 8th inning. Walks to Phelps and to McGregor. Have set the stage here. Blake on a K. Haig on a fielder's choice. Runner going from first. And Haig will hold up at second. Stetson letting him take the bag uncontested. Stolen base officially. That's the first of the game for the Lions. But that run is not what Stetson's worried about. It's Joshua Solomon they're worried about. With 2 outs on the board, 2-2 count. And he's down swinging! Rashesh Pandya put himself in the fire, but he pulled himself out of it. No runs allowed in that top of the 8th. Hats will grab the bats for what right now will be the final time in this game. But we'll see what happens moving forward. Hatters 4, Lions 1. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Conte.
Camden Traficante for the second time in this game will be the leadoff batter in an inning for the Hatters. Hatters looking to extend their 3-run lead before closing the door on the Lions in the 9th. First pitch, Traficante hits that hard to short. Phelps not able to grab it. And Traficante's on board, which will be his first hit of the game.
To the top of the order for the center fielder, Cameron Hill.
Hard hit ball on the first pitch. And Traficante, that time it worked out for him. He also went first pitch in the 3rd inning. But that time McGregor at first base fielding it cleanly. Jacob Phelps that time struggling with that hot shot. And Cam Hill will step in. Drops the bunt. Down the first base line. McGregor's there. He'll step to the bag at first. And that moves Traficante up. So the sack bunt. Does its job. Anthony DeFabio will step in. And DeFabio has had himself a weekend. A couple of singles in the 3rd and in the 7th. Eventually came around to score on a wild pitch. That one in the 7th. One of 2 runs the Hatters plated in that frame. Hatters sending up 8 batters in the 7th inning. The most they've had in 1 inning so far in this game. Jagger Edwards set up on the 3rd base side of the rubber. Long look at second. And then he fires high, 2-0. So Stetson's number 35. Got himself into a bit of trouble, but then got himself out of it. Let's see if Columbia's number 35 can do the same. Trafficante sitting on second. The 2-0 is in for the strike. Jacob Bullard on deck for the Hatters. And DeFabia swings through that. Strike two. DeFabia's batting average at .500 entering today. Number one on the team. His 5 RBIs. Also leading in the clubhouse entering this contest. Edwards taking his sweet time, looking over at second. Now he'll step off. Still plenty of Hatter fans watching this one, especially down below our broadcast position in the grandstand area, the 2-2. And that's going to be a full count now on DeFabia. Of course, this portion of the grandstands here at Melching is covered by a roof. Next year, all the grandstand area will be covered by a roof. At least that's the plan. Here's your payoff. And DeFabia fouls that away. So you're not only going to have all chairbacks here at Melching, you're also going to have a big roof covering the entire grandstands, not only to protect the fans from rain, but from sun. In some ways in Florida, it's the sun that can have almost as much of an impact as the rain when it comes to the fan experience. Tans have been known to be acquired watching baseball here in Florida. Here's your payoff. And that's low for ball 4. And with runners at first and second, it's Jacob Bullard who steps in. Bullard had himself an RBI single last time up in the 7th. That one driving in Cam Hill. It was his first hit of the game. Did reach on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. He was retired twice before that, though. Ground out the 2nd in the 1st, and Cade looking in the 5th. And Bullard lays off that one, 1-0. Bullard from New Hampshire. Hampton is his hometown. 6'1", 205 is how he's listed. Pitch is delivered, and Bullard fouls it away. 1-1. Bullard was a two-way guy in high school. Pretty decent pitcher, actually. But it's the bat that Stetson wants him to use here, and he'll swing right through that one for strike 2. And now it's 2-strike approach time for a guy who was a walk-on at Stetson in his career to begin, and now has played himself into a starting job at first base, when he's been healthy, that is. The 1-2. Lays off. Hatters up 4-1 over Columbia. Bottom 8. One out on the board here, and Stetson's looking to tack on at least a few more runs. You've got Trafficante at second. DeFabia at first. And Bullard lays off. We're going to have another full count. DeFabia managing to get to a full count before he drawed his walk. Daniel Labrador on deck. Waiting to see if he's going to be coming up with the bases loaded or not. Here's your payoff. And Bullard fouls it away. That one sneaking in front of the Columbia dugout. Jagger Edwards facing a full count here against Jacob Bullard. Delivers, and that one hit opposite field. Shot on the run in right field, it'll drop. And that's another base hit for Bullard. Trafficante rounding third. The throw home is not in time, and Trafficante scores. So give Bullard another RBI single, and it's 5-1 Hatters.
Now batting the designated hitter, Daniel Labrador.
So 2 RBIs on the day for Bullard. Trafficante really taking a risk there on a play that I think Columbia was expecting him to hold up at third, but he motored around third, and the throw was there in time, but Eberle not able to apply the tag quickly enough. So now you've got DeFabia at second and Bullard on first as Labrador steps in. And that misses low and outside, 1-0. Labrador with 1 hit in this game. That came in his first at bat in the second. Stroked a 1-1 pitch in for a single. He's had a walk, a pop out, and a line out. 2-0 count here for Labrador. That line out in particular in the 7th, a real hard luck one. Anton Lazet's making a terrific defensive play to rob him of a double, and it would have been an RBI at least, maybe 2. So Labrador continues to hit the ball well. The 2-0. Lays off, and that's a strike. Hatters now with a 5-1 lead. Also leading in the hits column 9-5. The 2-1. Runners going. Double steal attempt to throw to third. And DeFabia beat it. Bullard also taking advantage to move up.
That was the first stolen base of the game. Celebrating with a free sandwich. Like fans who just won a free sandwich card from Jimmy John's.
Now, Stetson with 3 steals in this game, actually, as both Bullard and DeFabia with the double swipe there. Kyle Ball also had one in the 4th, at least by my count. So Columbia drawing in the infield, and they're going to walk Labrador here. That was a 3-1 count, so not intentional. That's going to load the bases here for Dylan Brazel. And now it's decision time. Looks like Columbia's going to the pen, and they are. Dylan Brazel looking at his first at bat in this game, unless he happens to be lifted for a pinch hitter. So that's the decision Stetson has to make. We'll see how they decide when we come back. Bottom of the 8th, Hatters up 5-1. But bases loaded and 1 out. Pitching change for Columbia. You're watching Hatter Vision. And it looks like the decisions have been made for both sides. Derek Yu will step into the fire here for Columbia. A right-hander, sophomore, 6'1", 175 from Los Angeles, California. One of 10 from the Golden State on this roster for Columbia. First pitch swinging. Dylan Brazel pops this up. This could drive a run home. Haig makes the catch. Runner tags from third. And the throw home is offline. Runner's also moving up on the play. That's Bullard, and he's out. So DeFabia scores on the play. Bullard trying to be aggressive and take third is called out. But the Hatters do plate two. Dylan Brazel drives in the RBI. And in the top of the ninth now, the Hatters holding a 5-run lead, and they only need 3 more outs to get the weekend series win. And looks like it'll be Rashesh Pandya who will come out to try to shut the door. You're watching Hatter Vision. And we head to the top of the ninth with the Hatters in position to claim their 4th win of the year. Rashesh Pandya asked to shut the door here against Columbia's 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Hayden Schott, Anton Lazitz, and Weston Eberle. That one goes foul off the bat, a shot there. So the count 0-2 for him. And if he had to pick some batters to be in a good spot here for Columbia, well, you've probably picked the 2 hottest that they have in the lineup this weekend in Schott and Lazitz. Each of them with 5 hits entering today, each of them with a single already in this game. As Schott lays off that one, the count now 1-2. Schott's single coming in the 4th. He was eventually stranded at 3rd. And Pandya fires outside, low there, 2-2. Very close now to the 3-hour mark in this contest. Pandya delivers, and that one is hit towards second. Gathered up by Griffith. The long throw is in time.
Batting the third baseman, Anton Lazitz.
Banks Griffith played a lot deeper than he normally does at second base. He was pretty much in shallow right, but still able to make the throw regardless. And now Anton Lazitz will try to get the offense moving here for Columbia. First pitch is fouled away towards the Columbia dugout on the third base side. Lazitz single, like Schott's, also came in the 4th. They both went back-to-back with 2 outs before Eberle grounded out to end the threat. Pandya, I believe, will be in line for the save here since he came in with a 3-run lead. That's in for a strike, 1-2. Like we said before, though, Pandya, no stranger to being in tight spots late in games. He has 5 saves in his college career. None of those at Stetson, of course. Both that coming at Wofford. Count now 2-2. He wasn't a closer for Clemson in his 1 year there, but was often put into the fire late in games. And now he's looking at a full count here on Lazitz. This is how Pandya got into trouble in the 8th, walking Phelps and McGregor both on full counts. This time, though, Lazitz is down swinging. So give Pandya 3 Ks in this game. And with 2 outs on the board, Weston Eberle is the final hope for Columbia. Hatters on the verge of winning the weekend series and improving their record to 4 wins and 3 losses. And Eberle looks at a strike. Hatters opening up the season with a 7-game homestand in February. Their first road game will be their next game, actually. The 0-1 from Pandya's high, 1-1 the count. They'll be making the trip up I-4, or down I-4, I guess is the better way of putting it, to play the Knights of Central Florida. That's a game that will be on ESPN+. The 1-1, and that's a strike. So Eberle down to his final strike. After that, though, the Hatters will be back at Melching for 12 more games, including the conference opener in mid-March. The 1-2, and that one hit towards the first baseman Bullard. Underhand throw to Pandya, covering the bag, and the Hatters have the win. Rashesh Pandya gets it done, shutting the door for Cole Stallings, who gets his first win of the year after a stellar pitching effort. Hatters 6, Columbia 1. So the Hatters end February with a 4-win, 3-loss record. Columbia, in their first games of competitive baseball in nearly 2 years, finishing 1-2 on the weekend. Did, of course, get the opening night win against Stetson on Friday, 8-3. Stetson breaking out the bats in their 12-8 win over the Lions yesterday. Today, though, a much different affair for the Hatters. It was a very tight game throughout. Columbia grabbed their lone run in the first inning, that coming on an RBI single from Cole Haig, plating Andy Blake. But Stetson would tie the game up in the second inning, thanks to an RBI ground out by Kyle Ball, which scored Daniel Labrador, and it remained knotted at 1 until the 4th, when Stetson would grab the lead for good. Christian Pregent's RBI popper to right, scoring Kyle Ball. But just for good measure, the Hatters would add 2 runs apiece in the 7th and in the 8th innings. RBI singles from Jacob Bullard in both innings were key to scoring those runs. Dylan Brazel as well with an RBI popper to plate Stetson's final run of the day. So, that'll do it for us. We thank you, as always, for joining us on Hatter Vision. We'll be back on the air the next time that the Hatters have a home game. That will be Friday night. Sacred Heart coming to town, one of 2 teams from the Northeast Conference that Stetson is scheduled to face this year. The Hatters also taking on Bethune-Cookman that weekend in a Saturday night matchup. Sacred Heart and BCU will also be playing some games here in Melching during that time. So it'll be another weekend full of baseball here in Melching. But for Hatter Vision purposes, the first game will be Sacred Heart versus Stetson, 6:30 Friday night right here at Melching Field. Before that, though, the Hatters will be on the road for one of 5 games in March. Central Florida, that game will be on Tuesday, March 1st, 6:30. You can watch that on ESPN+. So, we'll see you again next week. For my camera person, Kayana Reinecker, thanks for your help this weekend. And the rest of us here on Hatter Vision, I'm Assad Bendion. Final score, Hatters 6, Lions 1. Stetson taking 2 out of 3 from the Lions this weekend, improving their record to 4-3. Have a good afternoon.